When Wuthering Waves was released, Rover had a huge problem. They were supposed to be the main character, but somehow they felt like the least interesting person in the story. An amnesiac protagonist with barely any personality, surrounded by characters who trusted them way too easily. For a lot of players, Rover quickly became just another bland gacha protagonist. But something interesting happened over time. With new story updates, deeper lore, and more focus on Rover's past, the characters start to change. And today, Rover might be actually one of the most interesting protagonists in gacha games. So, how did Rover go from one of the worst main characters to one of the best? Let's talk about it. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. It really helps a small creator like me. To understand all this, we need to go back to the very beginning. Wuthering Waves 1.0, where it all started. Rover was introduced as a character who fell from the sky with no memory. A mysterious savior who had vanished 20 years ago, suddenly reappearing without explanation. It's an interesting setup, but something was missing. Rover felt like a shell, a blank slate we could insert ourselves into, moving through the story without really feeling anything. They didn't think for themselves. Sure, there is a tiny glimpse of emotions, but overall, Rover came across as a bland, overpowered savior straight out of the generic isekai anime. A protagonist, by definition, needs motivation, a drive to do something, and a backstory to back it up. That's why so many mainstream games have so well-loved protagonists. There's the reason why we care for them. So, when did Rover start showing signs of real personality? The first signs came around the 1.3 and 2.2 MSQs. He seemed caring, flirty, and more like a person with real emotions. He felt for Shorekeeper and understood Kartathia's suffering. He was genuinely sad about Shorekeeper's sacrifice and he felt grief over Kartathia's death. That was the start of the change in the character we call Rover. He was finally established as a person with his own thought process, not just a blank state.
You'd better let her go!
Now let's skip to 2.5, where Rover really started to get humanized. This is where his moral compass became clear. It was in black and white. His decisions and actions felt grave, morally complex. His argument with Frolova felt so human, full of tension, humor, and frustrations. He wasn't just a hero or a savior anymore. He was just a man with his own troubles. And honestly, there is a reason why people loved 2.5 quest so much. They got to see Rover in a new light. Always bantering with Frolova, going head to head, showing personality and emotions. What made it truly grey was that he was willing to kill Frolova. His actions were dictated solely by saving people, and Frolova was a threat. Even though his strike was aimed at the gems Frolova was holding, he threw his sword anyway. I can say that Rover is willing to kill if it's necessary. We also saw this back in 2.4. When he realized Lupa was a threat, he considered killing Lupa, but only as a last resort.
What if it is? Killing Lupa would be an act I could never take back.
By 2.7, we got a deeper look at what was really going inside Rover. His mindscape revealed his past trauma, the pain of losing people, the fears he had carried for years, and the emotional scars that still shaped him. From 1.3 quest, we know that Rover's memories aren't erased, they are suppressed. With each journey he undertakes, the fragments of his old self are restored, gradually merging with new Rover we see in the present. Every mission, every encounter helps him reclaim pieces of his past, shaping him into a complex and deeply human character we know. And this all became even more apparent in the 3.1 quest. Here we saw an entirely new side of Rover, a side full of sadness, doubt, and isolation. He was someone who had no clear way to go back to his homeland, burdened with a task that had no guaranteed end, and constantly questioning the decision he had to make. Rover's care for Amy showed just how deeply he could love and protect others. He treated her as if she were his own child, carefully setting things up so she wouldn't walk the same path as he did, as we saw in Luke's quest. Even now, he grieves for her sacrifice, carrying that pain silently as he continues his journey. This grief isn't just sadness, it's a reminder of the weight he bears every day and the lives that depend on him. What makes Rover truly compelling is that his heroism comes at a cost. He is a selfless protector, pained by the suffering of others, and willing to carry that burden alone. He roves the world, solving problems caused by the element, all while facing his own regrets, fears, and moral dilemmas. Every decision he makes, every sacrifice he endures, reinforces that he is more than just a savior from the sky. He is a man shaped by laws, love, and unwavering sense of duty. Rover isn't perfect. He struggles, he doubts, he grieves, but it's precisely these flaws that make him relatable and unforgettable. He is a hero, not because he is invincible, but because he keeps going, even when the world weighs heavily on him.
I will be there for everyone as we head toward our shared future, leaving the past behind.
So, what do you think? Has Rover become one of your favorite protagonists, or do you still see him differently? Let me know in the comments. I love to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Your support really helps me make some more videos like this, and there's a plenty more Wuthering Waves content coming soon.